They're by far my favorite couple of all time, almost. I am so obsessed with them. It is just filled with debauchery. It's never just a chapter. I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new vlog series where I will be reading series that I'm currently in the middle of. And I filmed an entire video where I went over all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of, and it was an incredibly high number. Maybe 30 or 40 actually, but I did end up DNFing some of them. So I was left with maybe 26, give or take, that were officially series that I wanted to finish. Of those, I kind of have narrowed it down based on what I want to read, what's kind of a priority for me, and also what is available at my library right now, to 3 that I kind of want to focus on for this week at least and see how much I can advance. One of them I might be DNFing, I'm not really sure. So for sure on my Kindle, I want to continue reading, maybe you already know, Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, book number 1, but it's in Spanish, Harry Potter y la Piedra Filosofal, and I am 65% of the way through, and I have been chipping away at that for forever. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it if you follow my channel at all, and I'm so sorry. I'm really hoping with starting this series that I'm gonna be able to finish it. Fingers crossed. That is my number 1 goal, to even just get 2% more, to just hit 67%. That would be nice. If not, 70. It's a big goal, but hopefully I can do it. We'll see. And then the other series that I would like to prioritize a little bit this week would be the Throne of Glass series. That's a little bit trickier to get at my library, but I've already put in requests to borrow the rest of the books that I have to. I actually am able to get right now Tower of Dawn. I feel like everyone hates on that book so much in the series, and I actually really like it. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite in the series, but it definitely is one of my favorites in the series. I would say that one, and gosh, what's the 4th one? It's the one with the lead and Lorcan. Like, they're by far my favorite couple of all time, almost. I am so obsessed with them. I love them more than anything. And they were just featured so heavily in the 4th book right before Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. And I mentioned in my series video that I was going back and forth, like, should I do a tandem read of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, or should I just read one after another? Because when I started reading the series for the very first time, I did a tandem read and it took forever. It's like well over 1,000 pages. I think it's close to even 1,500 pages, give or take, when you do a tandem read for these 2 books. And I really like the tandem read, and I think it was fun, but I don't think that I want to do that this time. And also, I feel like my library kind of decided for me anyways, because Empire of Storms has 2 people in front of me. And Tower of Dawn, as I said, literally nobody wants it, which is so sad because it's such a good book. Like, really, I loved the atmosphere, and I don't know, I just love like the writers, and I loved the mystery kind of like figuring out what's happening with the children. And I don't know, it was thrill, it was mystery, it was fun, the atmosphere was incredible, it was different than the rest of the series, but in such a fun way. And I really loved Irene. I don't like Chaol, actually. Like, I love him in the 1st book, and then I absolutely hate him in the entire rest of the series, basically. And so I don't really like him in this book, and I understand the book is basically just about him, but it's easy to look past because it also features Nesrin, who I just love so much, and I love her relationship also so much in this book. I love all of it. It's fun. So it really breaks my heart that nobody is waiting for this, and that I could just easily snatch it up, and that I have to wait for 2 people for Empire of Storms. Anyways, that's beside the point. I kind of feel like the good thing about books like these are people tend to go through them pretty quickly. So I'm kind of hoping that these people are gonna binge read Empire of Storms and I'll be able to get it in a couple of weeks only. That would be super nice. I'm not going to push myself too hard with reading Tower of Dawn, so it's probably gonna take me a week or 2 to get through it. And then if I could have Empire of Storms already ready, That would be perfect. So fingers crossed that's what happens, knock on wood. But if not, then I also have another series that nobody is reading at my library except for one person, and they're in front of me, which is a good thing. They're currently on book number 4, and I'm currently on book number 3, and that is the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And this is the one where I'm not sure if I'm going to DNF it or not. I really would like to finish it, and I really want to see what happens. I feel like I'm very invested into certain characters at least, and into seeing what happens, but it is so unbelievably smutty that it is really hard for me to read and to get through. And I feel like it also, in the 3rd book, I started reading it a long time ago and I kind of soft DNF'd it because it just was so cheesy. And I don't know, it just was like one thing after another, after another, after another, and it just was like too much, too cheesy. It was too smutty. It was too explicit. It was too crazy. And so I kind of stopped reading it, but I would genuinely like to finish it now. And I want to start from the beginning, and I'll be able to get that from my library, which is nice. So I can start reading on that immediately. Also a Tower of Dawn, and I own Harry Potter. I have this on my Kindle, and then I also own the physical copy of Harry Potter in Spanish, book number 1. I also own it in English. I could theoretically read them side by side if I really need the help. But the whole point is I am good to go with these 3 books right now. So we will see what I feel like reading, which ones, and what I focus on this week. But I'm kind of really hoping that I'll be able to finish at least one book this week from these lists. There's also other books that I kind of want to read on the side that have nothing to do with the series. Like right now I'm reading The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, and I'm really liking it. I'm roughly 20% of the way through. I guess theoretically I could add that and say that that's a series that I want to finish, even though I am just starting it, and technically I only counted books in this list of series for ones that I've already finished the first book and I've just stopped after reading the first book. Not ones that I'm currently reading and have no intention of stopping after the first book, but I think for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna include it. Hi, so super quick update after I literally just gave you my first update of the video. I sat down, or really laid down. I've like fully put myself in my little blanket, and I have right here my Kindle arm like hanging over with my Kindle on it, and I have my page turner. So it's like the laziest setup ever, but it's so cold outside and I'm sick. Like I'm still getting over a sickness and I'm tired, and I just want to bundle up under the blanket and not actually have to take my hands out to turn the pages. I know that's like the laziest thing ever, but I don't care. It's the truth. And so I thought I'll start with Tower of Dawn. And I got a little bit through, like maybe 6% or so, give or take. And then, I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling it. So then I decided to switch to something else. And as I was scrolling through my books, I saw Bespelled, which is book number 2 of the Bewitched. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy, but it's not finished yet. And this was one of the series that I mentioned in my series video, but I wanted to wait. I didn't want to read Bespelled yet because the rest of the books are not out. I have so long to wait until the series is over. I have so long to wait for the 3rd book to come out, and I really didn't want to do that to myself. I wanted to not read Bespelled until there was at least an estimated date for the 3rd book to come out. I don't know, as I said, I moved on from Tower of Dawn and I was scrolling through and I saw Bespelled and I was like, let me just read a chapter. Which, as everyone knows, that's like the worst thing that you should ever say. That's never true. It's never just a chapter. I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours. And I just want to say, I don't want to do anything today. I have homework to do. I've got other stuff to do. I don't want to read anything else. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to read Bespelled right now, and I want to read it until it's finished. It's so good, and I just love it so much. And I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. Because I said I wasn't going to. I said I was going to wait and I was going to focus on the other 3 series that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I literally started with Tower of Dawn and I was reading it and then I just couldn't. And then now I'm sitting here reading Bespelled. I really truly do have work to do today. So like really, I cannot just read this all day long. But that's the only thing that I want to do. Okay, so quick update on the series that I'm trying to read right now. I am 0% of the way through with The Crown of Gilded Bones, book 3 of the From Blood and Ash series. I am still only 65% through with Harry Potter. However, I am 60% through with Bespelled, and I am just loving it so much. Like, I'm having the time of my life reading that, and I really didn't want to because I know that the third book is not out yet. I see nothing, no estimations online or anything about it coming out anytime soon, certainly not in the next 6 to 12 months, which I know is roughly my capacity for remembering what happens in a book. I would say after the 6 to 12 month mark, I'm gonna have to do a reread to prep for the third book coming out then, which really sucks. But honestly, I really like this series so much that I guess it doesn't matter too much. I probably would not mind doing a reread at all. I don't know. I'd rather just read it all at once, and I really never start a series if it's incomplete for this exact reason and for the exact scenario that I've literally put myself in. However, yeah, it's too late now because I'm so obsessed with the series. I love it so much, and I'm hoping to finish Bespelled soon, as in like the next, I don't know, maybe day or 2, maybe 3. I just cannot get enough of it. I love it so much. It is super, super smutty, so just be warned. This is now officially the smuttiest book I've ever read in my entire life. It is a little bit worse than Iron Flame, I would say. It has to be in the double digits percentage of how much it fills this book. Like, it's got to be at least 20% of the book is smut. The second book, at least, not necessarily the first one. The first one wasn't as bad, although it was very, very, very smutty. But the second one, oh my goodness, it is so smutty. It's like wild. It's like very explicit and very frequent. Like after the 30% mark, give or take, it's just like 0, or maybe not 0, but like 25 or so to like 1,000. It is like so far past 100. It's so crazy. And for me, it's really a lot, and it was so shocking. I was not expecting it. I didn't know that this was kind of really like a dark romance fantasy, I guess. It's not that dark, but I mean, it is a little bit. So I just was not expecting it. So that's just my warning to you. If you're thinking about reading it and you don't like smut, maybe think again. Maybe decide, is this really worth it? I don't know. I honestly think it is because I just really like it so much. I love the characters. I will say, I think these characters have a lot of chemistry. Like, it's this trope of lovers across ages, like they were lovers and husband and wife in a past life. And just that whole idea and everything in the trope is so romantic, and it's so sweet, and I love it so much. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why the smut is not as awful to me as in other books. I still don't like it, but I understand it, I guess. I don't know, that sounds weird, but that's the only way I know how to explain it. And like I said, I still don't like it in this book. It's still very, very explicit, and it's too much for me, and it's way too frequent. Like, if she cut it down to like half the time, it still would be too much smut. And so it really is a lot. But I will say, if you like smut, you're probably going to eat this up. You're probably going to love it so much. I just feel like they have a ton of chemistry, as I said, and I just love them as a couple. So I just also like love the way that she writes the trope of the lovers in a past life, and I don't know, it's just done so well. I feel like so often when that's done, or when it's done that there's like a soulmate or a bonded pair or whatever, it's like instant love. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think it has its time and place. I think it's definitely nice sometimes, but I'm not the biggest fan. It's not something that I necessarily seek out as a trope. And this book, there's no instant love. It's very one-sided for the majority of the book, and I really like that. Like, in fact, not only is it not instant love, but the FMC, the female main character, actively dislikes the MMC, the male main character. And she is like so against him at first, and she wants nothing to do with him, and he's very morally gray / straight up just villainous for a good chunk of the first book at least. and she doesn't like him. She does not immediately fall in love with him, and she tries to stay away from him and yada, yada, yada. And I really like that. I like that it's not instant love and that he really, really has to work still in the second book for her attention and for any inkling of, I don't know, positive feelings towards him. And I think it makes for a really fun book and a really fun relationship in general. And yeah, I'm just really liking the book. I could talk about it for forever. Honestly, I'm shocked that I like it so much. I'm so happy that I found this book series. I will let you know when I do finish it, and I will let you know if I finally start reading the other series that I would like to eventually read. But honestly, I think probably I'm gonna finish Bespelled first, and then I think I might give Tower of Dawn another try. We'll see. Hi, so quick update for my series reading. I am officially finished with Bespelled, and I really, really, really liked it, like, so much. I know that I've said this so many times with the series. I just love it more than anything. I feel like it's so good, and I don't know, it's just a special book, I feel like. But I will say it is so smutty. Like, it got worse after my last update. Like, it is so unbelievably smutty. Like, the book itself actually describes the acts and like just the stuff that happens in general as debaucherous. And I feel like that's a pretty harsh but also very realistic description for how this book is. It is just filled with debauchery. I am like the last person who would ever generally pick a book that's described as debaucherous like this. But despite that, I just really liked it. I am so excited to read the third part. There was no cliffhanger, which was nice because I will have to wait such a long time. But there definitely was some, I don't know, surprises, I guess. I kind of knew that it was coming. I could not imagine this little twist not happening. So it's not like it was surprising when it did, but it is exciting because that's definitely going to be the focus of the third book. And I'm just very excited to see where that takes the book and what happens. So yeah, I really liked it. I really liked the series. I think that I would give Bespelled 5 stars, just like I gave the first one. I don't know what it is about these books. I just feel like the trope and the romance and everything is just so nice. And the way that the magic is, especially in the first book, she can't use magic without losing her memories. And so it's just like this added pressure and added uniqueness to the book and her situation in general, the main character, Celine, because she really has to decide, is it worth using this magic and then potentially losing an important memory? Because she can't pick which memories are stolen from her. And I just think it was so interesting, and it was so well written. And it's like the trope of the guy who is like super overprotective in a way, but he's not controlling, which I really like. Like, she is 100% her own person, and she's allowed to do whatever the heck she wants. And Memnon does not try to control her in the slightest, but at the same time, he's super overprotective, but he just keeps it to himself. I really like the idea of the guy being super loving and affectionate and caring and overprotective towards the main character, Celine, but I just don't like how often it's a trope that then they're so overprotective that they're overbearing and they're controlling. And even if they're not really trying to be controlling, and even if the author doesn't want to write it in that way, it still ends up being very controlling and being like, no, I don't want you to go do this or whatever. And that's not what this is like at all. Like, Memnon says, you go do that, but also I'm going to come with you because I've got your back. So if you want to do it, you can go and do it. That's totally fine. But I'm coming with because I love you so much. And I just think it was so sweet, and I just loved it so much. And that was like the whole book too, basically. It was Celine going off, kicking butt right and left, and then Memnon trailing after her and like cleaning up the mess and making sure that she's okay and tending to her wounds and everything, but still very much letting her be like a strong, independent woman, I guess. I just loved it. I love book 1. I love book 2. I love this series. I cannot wait to read more from it. I just, yeah, just love, 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 love. And now I am going to focus on Tower of Dawn. And then whenever I feel like I have the motivation, energy, and brain capacity, then I will also read a little bit of Harry Potter. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not really feeling that so much because I was really sick a week ago and I'm still kind of sick. You can still hear it in my voice a little bit. And I just don't think my brain is up for the task of reading Harry Potter in Spanish right now. Hi, so here's my final update for part 1 of this challenge of trying to get me to finish all of my bajillion series that I'm not completed with yet. And as you already know, I finished Bespelled this week, so I am officially as far done as is possible with the Bewitched series, which is super great. I am excited about that. As far as Harry Potter goes, I read like a page. So I've really not progressed in that one at all. We're just not going to talk about that right now. Moving on. As far as A Crown of Gilded Bones goes, I've not started reading that yet because I started reading Tower of Dawn and I kind of just want to focus on that for a little bit before I bring in A Crown of Gilded Bones. Pretty sure that's the title. Yeah, so I'm kind of just holding off on that for a little bit. There were also some other books that I was reading just on the side that are not a part of a series that I wanted to focus on more. I read Mexican Gothic and I just finished that. And also I'm reading The Raven Boys, which is a part of a series, but again, I'm starting the series, so I'm not including it in my finishing series challenge because I'm just now starting it for the first time. And I think based on how much I'm liking the first one so far, I'm probably just gonna go through all of them real quick. So back to the ones that I'm actually reading for this challenge. Like I said, for the series From Blood and Ash, didn't really advance on that at all. I opened it, so I think it says I'm 1% of the way through, but I literally just opened it and then went past all of the introductory stuff, like the chapter names and the title page and yada, yada, yada. So I'm 1% of the way through, okay? And then for Tower of Dawn, I actually genuinely have progressed, not that much because my gosh, this book is so long. I forgot how long it is and I can't even imagine that for a single second I was considering doing a tandem read again. I'm so happy I'm not. I'm so happy I'm reading Tower of Dawn first and then Empire of Storms after. Or I was thinking maybe I'll get at least 50% of the way through with Tower of Dawn and then maybe I could add Empire of Storms to it. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. We will see. But my gosh, like I have already read probably an hour of Tower of Dawn and I am only 7 or 8% of the way through. And it says I still have 11 hours and like 50 minutes left or whatever. So basically 12 hours, which means the whole book is like 13 hours for me to finish. Maybe I'm way slower than the average person, I don't know, but I feel like I'm reading it pretty quick because this is my second time reading it. So I don't have to get every single little detail and I don't want to, honestly, because it's so long and it's overwhelming to me. So I'm kind of just like speeding through it, but not skimming. I'm still reading everything, but I'm just not, I don't know, sitting and letting the information soak in like I normally would. Like sometimes things would be said and I would just stare at the page for like 3 minutes or whatever, just taking it in, and then I would continue, and then maybe I would just sit for a little bit and take the information in and then continue. And I'm not doing any of that because I don't have time for that. I am just constantly reading and trying to read quicker than normal, and I still have basically 12 hours left. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because the thought of doing that for this book, then doing it for Empire of Storms, and then doing it for Kingdom of Ash. So for the 3 books that are left in the series, it stresses me out. I don't know, I might maybe kind of deprioritize this one and raise the priority for another series that I own that I know is a quicker, easier read, and then maybe I'll come back to it. But I think I'm just going to keep reading it, but I'm not going to prioritize finishing it as soon as possible just because it's a lot. I really forgot like how long and intense it is. Like it's so much information and it's just so much so much, just period. Like, it's just so much. And so I don't know why I forgot about that, but I did. I think maybe, like I said, I'm still going to continue with it, but you might just see less of it. I just really want to finish things right now. And I don't want to sit for like 13 hours trying to finish this book because it's not as new and fresh and exciting to me. I still enjoy it, but it's just not like I'm racing to get to the end because I can't wait to see what happens. I know what happens. And so I don't have that added excitement and newness and everything. It's just like the old excitement and the old affection for the series that's driving me, and it's different. It's just not driving me as much as it used to in the past. Like when I read it the first time, I kind of, just to protect myself from getting in a reading slump, might take a little diversion, but then immediately get back on track, hopefully after the diversion. After I finish something, then maybe I'll be more motivated. Just keep chipping away at it bit by bit. So yeah, that is everything that I have to update you on for the series reading for now. The next part that I film, part 2, is going to be over a longer period of time. So hopefully I'll be able to accomplish more. This was just like a single week, basically. And I was already reading other books on top of it, and I had a lot on my plate because I was sick, and so I got really behind with school and university and everything. And so now I'm back on track. I'm caught up with everything. I have finished a couple of standalones that I wanted to finish, and I feel like everything is just kind of evening out. And then next time, hopefully it will be like 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. And so I'm hoping to finish more next time. But we'll see, knock on wood, fingers crossed. But that is everything for this vlog and for part number 1. And so I hope that you have an amazing day. I hope that you are catching up on your series as well. I hope you don't have as many as me. Or at least if you have as many as me, I wish you luck in reading and trying to finish them. Hopefully we can encourage each other to finally knock some of that down and get it into single digits. So let me know in the comments below if you also need some encouragement and if you're in the same boat as me. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.